If I wanted to build the most profitable ad campaign starting from scratch today, these are the exact 4 things that I would focus on. These 4 pillars will make any campaign cheaper to run, easier to scale, and way more profitable. It's the exact framework that's helped our clients grow their businesses past multi-million dollars in revenue, and you need to have each part working together, otherwise your marketing will always feel volatile. For each pillar, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, show you real examples of what works, and point out where most people waste their money so you know what to avoid. Almost nobody comes to me with an ad campaign that nails all 4 of these things, but even if you fix one of them in your current setup, your ads can perform up to 91% better than your previous successful campaigns. So if you've ever looked at your marketing and thought it feels like I'm setting my money on fire, or I know I'm leaving way more cash on the table, then this is for you. Real quick, I put together a completely free meta ads course that breaks this down in even more detail. There's 0 strings attached, link is in the description below. Let's get started with number 1, messaging. This is how you communicate to your ideal client in a way that gets them to buy from you. Messaging is the most important thing. If you can't communicate your value in a way that means something to your audience, you have nothing. It needs to either strike a nerve or take away their fear of missing out. With the recent changes to Meta's ad platform, this matters now more than ever. Take a look at this illustration. Meta delivers ads based on how each user behaves, whether they use a Reels tab or the main feed, whether they prefer pictures or video, or whether they click through stories. Meta already knows who the right people are and where to find them. Our job is to simply tell Meta who we want. For example, if you run a physical therapy clinic and postpartum women are your most profitable clients right now, your messaging needs to speak directly to postpartum women without breaking ad guidelines, of course. Meta will know exactly who to show your ads to and where, but if you just advertise for general hip pain, Meta tries to show it to everyone, and when you advertise to everyone, you advertise to no one. So getting specific with the problems that your avatar is facing and calling them out in your ads is one of the best things you can do right now. Now, here's one of the most powerful things you can do for your messaging, and that's understanding awareness levels. Eugene Schwartz wrote a book called Breakthrough Advertising where he breaks down this concept, and it single-handedly increased the performance of every campaign I've ran for myself and for my clients. Inside of your total addressable market, or your TAM, there are different pockets of people at different awareness levels. Some people are completely unaware they even have the problem your product solves, and others know exactly what they need and are ready to buy. Think about it like this. You're selling saxophones to music lovers. That's your TAM, music lovers. But some of those music lovers have never heard of a saxophone before, whereas others are actively looking to buy one right now. Who do you think is easier to sell to? Obviously the ones ready to buy. So using Eugene Schwartz's market awareness framework, the people who have never heard of a saxophone are completely unaware. The people who know they want to learn and are shopping around are solution aware. The lower someone sits in the awareness funnel, the easier they are to sell to, but the catch is that fewer people actually sit there. And as you scale your ad spend, you're going to exhaust that little pocket audience, which means moving up an awareness level, and that requires a different funnel and a different budget strategy entirely. But once you get crystal clear on the right messaging for the right awareness level, Meta starts showing your ads to exactly the right people, and your campaign gets more profitable and your junk leads fall off real quick. And I do cover this stuff in a lot more detail in the free Meta ads course, where you can find the link in the description below. Once you have the messaging down, the second thing that makes a perfect ad campaign is the creative. Creative matters now more than ever because Meta's targeting options have become broader and broader over time. Back in 2010 to 2013, hyper-specific targeting was the move, but now with features like Advantage Plus built into the platform, Meta is doing more of the targeting work itself, which means your creative has to do the heavy lifting. And by the way, creatives is just the actual ad that the customer sees. If you head into Ads Manager right now and upload a creative, Meta will actually offer to generate more ads for you based on your existing creative, primary text, and headline. That's how far this has gone. In fact, the major platform changes Meta made recently were largely driven by how many AI generated ads were flooding the platform. Now, if we were to take a page out of the book of the big spenders, advertisers dropping a minimum of $500,000 a day put almost all of their focus on creative volume. And you can see this especially in the D2C and e-commerce space. And me, I love seeing what big advertisers are doing right now because they are probably doing the right thing. in order to spend that amount of money profitably. And as service businesses selling high ticket offers, we want to take the same approach. This illustration was given to Meta's top spenders, people spending at least $1 million per month on ads for 5 to 6 consecutive months. In it, you can see that you want to start with at least 3 motivators or messaging angles that are proven and tested. For each of those motivators, you want a mix of hi-fi, high production value, and lo-fi, low production value, visuals across at least 3 formats: video ads, static ads, and reels. But you can also do carousel ads if you want. When you map it all out the way this illustration shows, just by having 3 motivators, 2 visual treatments, and 3 or 4 formats, you end up with at least 30 different ad creatives from one simple framework. And if you really want to double down on creative volume, which I recommend to every single one of my consulting and done for you clients, bringing in UGC actors gives you way more ways to attack your proven messaging angles, or what Meta calls motivators, without burning yourself out on camera. And now once you know what your messaging and your creatives are going to look like, now it's time to decide on the funnel strategy. And before we get into it, let me just quickly explain what it means. Your funnel strategy is simply the way you convert the attention your ad gets. This could be a VSL funnel, and a VSL, by the way, is just a video sales letter, and it's just a longer form video that sells directly. Or you could have an instant form or a follower ad. And traditionally, a funnel is a visual representation of the customer journey from the moment someone first sees your ad all the way through to them buying. Getting this right is what separates a profitable campaign from one that just bleeds money. So to get this right, you first need to get clear on what conversion you're actually going for. Your conversion event is simply the thing that you optimize for inside of Ads Manager. And that could be a schedule, a lead, a profile visit, or a purchase. Picture a straight line. On one end, you have someone who sees your ad for the first time, and on the other end, they buy. The further along that line your conversion event sits, the more expensive it becomes to optimize for. Your first instinct might be, okay, I want a sale, so I'll optimize as closest to the sale as possible. And even though that does make sense, Meta's ad platform needs 50 conversions per week to optimize properly. And you can track this by looking at the results column of your campaign inside of Ads Manager. The more expensive your conversion event, the harder it is to hit that 50 per week threshold. So depending on your ad budget, optimizing straight for the sale might not be realistic. If you are in that position when you have a limited ad budget, you may need to pick a conversion event further back from the sale, because that makes it easier to hit those 50 conversions and let Meta actually do its job properly. And that could also mean you have to swap out your VSL funnel for an instant form, or even a follower ad where you're optimizing for a profile visit instead of a full-blown purchase or a schedule. And the right choice of which conversion event to optimize for will depend on your offer, the funnel strategy you pick, and how competitive your market is. But here's a very rough guide to help you decide. VSLs, webinars, and challenge funnels are great if you have a budget to hit 50 conversions per week and want to harvest as many high quality conversions and calls as possible. Instant forms are great if you want to maximize lead volume at a lower cost per conversion event, and follower and DM ads are the best alternative if you want to reach cold audiences at scale, though the lead quality will generally be lower. Every single one of these strategies has its own pros and cons, and there are obviously more strategies you can pick from, and I've already made a full video breaking each one down on my channel, so go ahead and check that out after this. Now the fourth and final pillar is lead nurturing, and this is the one most people ignore. It's the least sexy, the most boring in marketing, but if you just did it, we've seen lifts in our clients' revenue anywhere from 20% all the way up to 70%. I want you to sit back and imagine 2 types of businesses. You have company A, what I call a smash and grab business, who are solely focused on getting and closing as many new customers as possible. Their sales process is high pressure, and if a lead doesn't close on call, they get lost in the void forever. Then you have company B. They're not as high pressure because they know that if someone doesn't close today, that lead gets nurtured across different platforms until the day they are ready to buy. I want you to take a guess at which company wins long term. It's company B, and this is exactly why. There's another book, it's by Chet Holmes, called The Ultimate Selling Machine. And in it, Chet talks about a concept called stadium pitching. The idea is that 3% of your total market is ready to buy right now, and the other 97% just aren't ready yet. So the businesses that focus on long-term nurture and simply wait until somebody is ready, they're tapping into the other 97%, and by default, the businesses that play the long game will always win. And there's more evidence to this as well. Google did a massive study on buyers across different industries and found that people need to have consumed 7 hours of your content across 11 touch points on 4 different platforms before they even consider buying from you. And they call this the 7-11-4 rule. And that should show you how important lead nurturing as a pillar really is. But how do you actually execute on this? It's easy to get really excited about optimizing ad campaigns, tweaking your messaging, and testing new creatives because that stuff is fun. What isn't as fun is opening up a CRM like Go High Level and building out a pipeline where your leads automatically get added and never get lost in the void if they don't close. And once that pipeline is set up, here's what you need to have running inside of it. You should absolutely have SMS and long-term email marketing running. Most major sources and larger companies consistently report that email marketing delivers a 37x ROI, meaning for every dollar you put in, you could be seeing $37 come out. Compare that to paid advertising, which everyone gets really excited about. At best, you put in $1 and get $5 back, maybe $10 if you're lucky. Think of your long-term email nurture as another content platform in written form. You can send people value-dense emails that quickly explain important things in a way that's easy to understand and direct them to long-form pieces of content, or include a call to action to speak directly to your sales team. And you might be wondering, how long do you nurture someone? My recommendation is to just never stop. Once a lead has come in through an ad, you've already paid for them, and it would be a waste of money to let them go unless they've explicitly told you they're not interested or they've opted out to your marketing entirely. And this applies to every single type of business, no matter what it is that you're selling. When you do have solid nurturing in place, it doesn't matter if a lead came in through a campaign that started last week or last year. You know they are going to get nurtured, and when they're finally ready to buy, you're there to collect. This is also where attribution becomes really powerful. Your CRM and ad platform can track which original campaign brought in the lead that ended up closing, and most tools do this automatically. So sales that closed months later can still be credited back to the original campaign that brought them in, and that's exactly why you never want to stop nurturing, because every lead you let go is a sale you could have collected on. And with that accurate data, you'll see that your campaigns are way more profitable than you ever believed, and your business ends up being way more profitable too. Think about it this way: if you're currently collecting 100K a month with proper lead nurturing in place, the same activity could be bringing in $120,000 to $170,000 instead, without any extra ad spend or grinding out more content. All you're doing is making sure the leads that you're already paying for don't go to waste. Once you have those 4 parts dialed in, you should see much more profitable ad campaigns for your business. And if you want to go deeper on any of this, the free Meta Ads course in the description covers a lot of it step by step. And if you're at the point where you just want someone to come in and handle all of this for you, my team does exactly that. There's a link in the description as well to book in a call, and we can take a look at what you've got going on and see exactly how we can help. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.